Hey, welcome back to Final Fantasy. When we last left off, we found Eris, and let me fix that. We found Eris, and we're her bodyguard now, and she wants us to take her home. And Toddy's still here, and she can actually see what I'm doing now, because I'm dumb and I don't know how to do stuff, so we're fixed. Hooray! And, I forget what this place is called. I think this is Sector 5? Yeah, this would be Sector 5 slums. Which makes sense. And then, yeah. I forget. I know this guy in the tube.
In the pipe.
Yeah, in the pipe tube. He's one of the, clones. This guy's sick. I never really understood this until later in the game when they're like, oh yeah, there's clones all over the place, and then this guy's just weird, I guess. Still, as a kid, I didn't really understand the cloning aspect. And I probably still don't. I wonder what those trophies are. Like, what did he win? Like, he's a famed athlete and he just got so washed up. Like, one of them looks like that's a vibrator, man. That one is a vibrator trophy. Like, he won most vibrators in his butt, and he's just like, oh god, they're still in there. Oh Jesus, I'm going for the gold this year. Oh, and then we gotta go over here. And also, if everybody is noticing that the music is completely turned down so I can actually hear myself. And hear Toddy as well.
Yay.
And then this guy is just one of those complainers where he's like, I don't trust Shinra, but I also don't trust Avalanche. It's like, listen man, if you're just gonna stand around and bitch all day, why don't you get a goddamn job or something?
I was immediately reminded of Skyrim.
Of which part in Skyrim? I'm not very far in that game.
Just the Stormcloaks versus the Empire. How every NPC that you run into, everyone's either they hate the Empire or they hate the Stormcloaks or they hate both.
Yeah. Which I think is pretty cool. They were always talking about like a big ass war going on ever since Morrowind.
Yeah.
And the big thing with Morrowind was they didn't have the technology for it. Nah, I'm not gonna rob the kid this time. It's only 5 gil. It's his life savings. Needs to buy more booze with that. And but yeah, they were always talking about how in Morrowind, the original idea for Morrowind was you were actually going to explore all of Morrowind, not just the island of Vardenfell. And but again, technology wasn't that great, so they're like, fuck it, let's just do Vardenfell and just move on with our lives. What do I buy from this guy? Oh, he's got Titan bangles. I feel like I should buy them. I don't know how many to get. That's the problem here. Fuck it, I'll just buy some. Oh no, I don't want 11. Oh, what? Oh. Whoops, I'll just buy 4. And, yeah, and then in Oblivion, I think they were going to try and do the exact same thing. And I got to a point in Oblivion where I was just like, man, I don't want to go through these gates anymore. This is tedious work, man. So I just stopped. Yeah, the Oblivion gates.
How far did you get into the main storyline, by the way, with Skyrim? Did you get sidetracked yet by anything cool?
I get sidetracked by everything. Let me think. I went up the mountain and talked to the Greybeards, and
Yeah.
then I went back down and I went out to Solitude to take a break because I traveled from the mountain to Solitude. I was like, okay, well, hang out here, sell my shit, and then make our way to the next main quest. And there's a thing in there that I'm doing that I don't like the fast travel system just because they have this humongous world that you can explore, and so I've decided to explore it and just run around. That, and since I'm playing as my Bloodtooth character, he can one-shot almost anything. So it's pretty much like, oh, I could just walk the road. It's like, oh, wolves? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and kill you guys. So it's like traveling the world is not a problem.
Only in certain places though, because the farther away from civilization you get, the harder the randomly generating enemies.
Yeah, I came across some tougher bandits. I forget they weren't bandit leaders or bandit lords or whatever they're called. They're like bandit berserkers or some shit like that.
Yep.
And they kicked the shit out of me. So I was like, oh, take a break from that. And but yeah, it was one of those things where I was on my way to Solitude. Like I had gone down from the mountain after jumping off it more than once. Just like saved my game, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna leap off this mountain like a shit ton of times. And but then I made my trek back down. Made it back to Whiterun. Took a break there because I had to. Basically, what had happened was I was part of the companions, and one of the dudes died, and the chick was like, "Well, we got to start hunting down these silver bastards."
Yep.
And so I started doing that, and there was one that was out near Riften, that was near the mountain. So I was like, "Well, I'll do that one." And so on my way there, I did that. Went up the mountain, came back down, and while in Whiterun, I did that. I completely lost my train of thought. But as far as main storyline, I just finished Throw of the World, and pretty much walked my way there. That's about it.
You lose that after like level 30. Maybe a little earlier. Maybe like level 20, 25. You start getting really bored of walking. Because you're gonna see everything soon enough. I mean, it's a huge world, but pretty much the same things spawn in the same general areas. Where it's cold, you're gonna find ice wraiths. Where it's warm, you're gonna find what do you call those? Aeternux, fire,
yeah.
Like Aeternux, flame.
I've ran into a few of those. Actually, I was playing as my assassin character, and she had just finished a quest. I was going down the river. And I just saw some dude, like, running away and then hiding behind a rock. I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? And I saw a bunch of fireballs going everywhere. I'm like, okay, I gotta get up there. So I went up there. Fucking Atronach just starting up shit. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. So I fired at her, killed the shit out of her. Dead witch next to her. And, the guy was, like, Rake the Liar or something like that. He wanders around constantly, but at first I thought it was some kind of quest. I was like, am I supposed to be doing something? And he just, like, he would not talk to me. He's just, like, saying random shit, so. A very weird encounter. Like, it almost seemed like a quest going on, but it was just random occurrences. Which is the kind of cool shit that I like to see.
I've had problems with that in the past, actually, when I first started playing. When did this game come out? 2011? 2012? I don't remember. One of those. Whenever the game first came out, I had a problem where somewhere along the road, at like level 15 or something, I ran into a quest character, because they do just walk around sometimes.
Yeah.
And he died in a battle. A troll came along, and he wasn't a real character that was particularly important because he died. You know how important characters won't die.
Yeah, they just kind of faint.
Yeah. So he died, so he wasn't that important, but it just fucked up my entire side story because I was done playing the main quest by then.
Yeah.
So it fucked up the whole, one of my favorite parts in Riften. That's my favorite city, because it's where all the thieves are. But it killed one of the guys, so it's really important. So I had to go back and redo like 5 levels because of that. Like, it wouldn't let me go on with the quest because the main guy was dead. I'm not going to give away who it was because I don't know, maybe you want to be a thief at some point, and he's kind of important, but
Right on.
let's see. I'm sorry, no, not a thief. Um,
Dark Brotherhood?
yes, that's the one. Dark Brotherhood.
Yeah, I've been down to Riften with Bloodtooth, but I haven't sent my assassin out there yet.
Yeah, that's my favorite city. My favorite quests. Just so many awesome things come out of Riften. Plus, I'm a looter at heart, and there's just so much loot in that city.
Yeah, I've yet to actually do anything there. It was a stopping point from there to Third of the World, or the Greybeard Sanctuary, whatever the fuck they call that place.
Yeah.
And so yeah, didn't get much Rift in action. And with Bloodtooth, he was pretty much like, yeah, he's not a thief and he's not an assassin, so he has no business doing anything there.
True.
So, but the plus side is he's a fucking murderer. He can kill the shit out of everything.
Yeah, you don't have to be a thief to progress in the game. If I recall correctly, I don't believe you have to even associate with him. But it's useful because the thieves' fences allow you to sell stolen stuff. Unless you're not walking, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm walking around stealing absolutely everything. And you can't sell stolen stuff to regular vendors, so you have to go see fences down.
Which was always weird to me in Oblivion, when it's like you steal an apple and you try to sell it to a market, and they're like, no, I don't want that apple. That apple's hot. It's like, how would you know? Like, do you have an eye for stolen apples? Like, are you dusting this shit for prints? Like, how do you know it's a stolen apple? Just strange programming. And then, of course, I already told you about... Oh, I figured out what it was about... Like, you remember me telling you about the assassin where I was trying to do the quest, and I go into town and everybody just starts killing me?
Yep.
And we assumed that it was the horse who had tattled on me for murder.
Right.
I'm not sure if that's what it was, because I went to Whiterun and they're like, you have a fine on you for $40, and I was like, okay, I'll pay that. And then I played as Bloodtooth, and in Whiterun they're like, I know who you are, you have to pay a fine of $40. But Bloodtooth doesn't murder anybody. Like, and you would think murder would be a lot more expensive than $40. It's like, you just killed somebody, and that'll be $40. Yes, sir. I'm so sorry.
Yep. It's way, way more than that in-game. Like, scaling from money. It's like $1 is not 1 gold in-game, because when you look at how much food is, you can compare it to regular money.
Right. And,
if you do side quests in any kind of village where you either harvest wood or harvest their crops for them, and then they'll give you gold for however much you harvest, they'll give you about 10 gold, which is nothing for us because we do missions that are like 200 gold a pop. But for them, that's a lot. That's a whole day's work. 10 gold is your entire day's work, and that's a good day.
Yeah.
10 gold is a lot. That's about let's say you make like $50 a day at work, or however much you make. That's like $50, I'd say.
Right.
So 40 gold is a lot for a civilian, but not for us because we're fucking the Dragonborn, so...
Right on. Oh, hang on, I gotta pause. Next time on Final Fantasy, we will continue this adventure. Be right back.